Good afternoon, everybody. I realize I'm between you and lunch here, so I'm going to keep it brief. My name is Ali Rez. I'm the Regional Executive Creative Director for BBDO Worldwide. I look after Middle East and Pakistan. BBDO is an ad agency based out of New York, and in Pakistan we're in Lahore and Karachi. We are not too old, about 8 years old, but we've already started changing the way advertising and marketing is approached. We've won more than about 250 awards, including the first agency to win a Cannes Lion for Pakistan, and continue to win more. I've worked most of my life in the US. My biggest client was Chevron Texaco, who last year made $150 billion in revenue. Over here, I look after a number of clients through Middle East and Pakistan. I love advertising and I love marketing for a number of reasons. One reason I love it is because it's a great influencer. It shapes the way everybody thinks. Everybody here has taken most of the decisions they took today and will take today out of three most important things, which is genetic instructions, instructions that your parents or friends or maybe your Maulvi Sahib have given you, and advertising. Things you wear, things you buy, that's what advertising shapes and influences. It drives the economy forward. It builds commerce and industry. But mostly I love advertising because it is about creativity and problem solving and thinking outside the box. And that, if done right, drives success in business and in life. I'm going to take a couple of really quick examples from the world of sports, where creativity is actually very, very important. Who knows who this gentleman is? His name is Dick Fosbury. Does anybody know Dick Fosbury? No. He is a high jumper. And in the 50s, when high jumping was being done a lot, and still is, this is how people used to high jump. They used to jump over the bar by facing it. They used to go stomach first. Dick Fosbury at that point was a complete failure. He wasn't doing well at all. He wasn't reaching the heights that he could have reached. And he was about to give up when a brainwave came to him, and he said, listen, what if I actually changed this, and instead of looking forward, I looked backwards. What he did was he saw an opportunity, and he applied talent to it. And that's what he did. He went backwards instead of forwards, like everybody else was doing. He applied creativity, and it was ridiculed so much at that time that it was called the Fosbury flop, because the press said that he looked like a fish flopping over the bar. His response was to win the gold medal at the 1968 Olympics. And even today, high jumpers jump like that, the Fosbury flop. That is a more successful way to clear the bar. And just by using innovation and creativity, he changed the game. We've got our own examples. Mushtaq Mohammad invented the reverse sweep. For more than 100 years, batsmen used to play a shot a certain way, and he came around and said, what if I actually turned it around and played it the opposite way? And we see innovation being applied constantly. There's Dilshan with his scoop. He saw an opportunity and applied talent. He saw that the space behind the wicketkeeper was empty, so let's use it. And it's incredible how that little bit of creativity actually led to a lot of successful records. But in the world of marketing and business, Gillis Lundgren is a very good example. This is the guy who designed the IKEA logo. And he was a graphic design student, and he was working at IKEA, and he designed the logo and a lot of other furniture items as well, when IKEA was a small furniture mailing company. And one day, this highlighted table here called Love It, he was trying to fit that in his little car, and he got really frustrated because he couldn't fit it. So he said, listen, what if I actually change this table to unscrew the legs and make it a smaller piece? And that led to a really incredible innovation, because the founder of IKEA realized that that meant that instead of shipping stuff like that in whole, they could start shipping stuff like that. It changed the game. A little bit of applied creativity and innovation changed the game for IKEA and the way flat mailing was invented. IKEA now is a $30 billion a year company, mostly because that they can package and ship furniture very easily. That bookshelf there is also designed by Gillis, which is called the Billy bookshelf. They make 15 of those per minute. It's that successful. And that's what creativity, when applied to business, does to business. It drives enormous success. It was so successful that IKEA actually just recently re-released that table, and it still unscrews. You can still unscrew the legs. So opportunity plus applied talent is based on creativity, it's based on innovation, also an attitude of bringing that innovation and creativity to whatever you're doing. But mostly it's about problem solving. There is always an opportunity that you need to bank on and cash on, which leads to stuff like this being transformed into stuff like that. We all know Apple's success and what it stands for today and what value it brings to its shareholders, and what an incredible story that is. But they've constantly taken innovation as the driving force behind everything they do, creativity, not only in their marketing, but in their product innovation. Tagore said that everything comes to us that belongs to us if we create the capacity to receive it. A lot of times we shun that creativity. I've often felt this being thrown back at me, which is it's too creative. If you bring in an idea, which usually leads to a lot of fear. But creativity requires a lot of courage. It demands that you actually be very bold in taking a risk. I've got a great story on that note. We all know who this guy is. He's looking at a Volkswagen. Volkswagen was actually a car designed for Hitler. It was called Volkswagen, the car of the people. Here he is admiring the design and the water-cooled engine in the back. In the 1950s, this is what car advertising looked like in the United States and around the world. Big, flashy, colorful cars, aspirational appeal, lots of big sell points, ads that have many, many selling points. And Volkswagen wanted to sell their car in the US. Now, this is post-war United States. They've just defeated the Nazis, and somebody's come and told them, listen, we want to sell our car in this country. For comparison's sake, imagine if I asked a marketeer here to sell Modi's car, the Ambassador, which is also a pretty ugly car. But imagine if that was your challenge, that you got to sell this car to everybody. So these guys, this agency, Doyle, Dane, Bernbach, they decided to do something completely different than everybody else was doing. They decided to be honest. They took honest advertising as a driving force, and that was their creativity mantra. Now look at that screen. That's how everything looked at that time, and this is what they did. They went black and white. They went small car. They said, think small, don't think big, because the car was small. They called their car a lemon, which means that it doesn't work. This is 1959, and they're taking such huge risks of selling a Nazi car in the US by calling it a lemon because the glove compartment key didn't fit. They even stopped showing the car. They called it ugly. It's ugly, but it will get you there. They don't even say Volkswagen on it. They just have VW. 1959, they were taking these risks. It turned Volkswagen into one of the most successful cars in the United States and worldwide. It's a brand that's well loved, even now. That campaign is the greatest ad campaign of the 20th century as evaluated by all marketers that evaluate it. But it was only because they took that opportunity and they applied the talent and they went forward with a lot of courage. This is a quote from the Chief Marketing and Communications Officer at Unilever, who says that leading brands and agencies have known for many years that creative work delivers better results than safe and rational advertising. It is a risky proposition, but it delivers more. I've got a couple of good examples, but a Unilever study itself says that unstereotyped advertising performs better. It improves purchase intent, which drives your company to better success. I've got a really good example here from our office in India, who took Ariel, and rather than showing comparison models of how you can wash away stains by just one wash, they decided to make it a social commentary. And as I mentioned, advertising has the power to change societies. It has the power to change the way people think about how to approach daily life. And that's exactly what they did with this. Not only changed society, but also brought a lot of commercial success to their brand and company.
In 95% of Indian households, only women do the laundry. Ariel, the leading detergent brand in India, has been fighting against this inequality. And in 2016, we used media to drive fathers to share the load, leading to record-breaking sales.
I'm so proud and I'm so sorry. Sorry कि ये सब तुम्हें अकेले करना पड़ता है. Sorry कि जब तुम घर घर खेलती थी तो मैंने तुम्हें रोका नहीं. ये नहीं कहा कि ये सिर्फ तुम्हारा काम नहीं है, तुम्हारे हस्बैंड का भी है.
It started with a TV advert that went viral globally, viewed by 65 million people across 22 countries. This advert highlighted how gender inequality was ingrained in India's society. Some of the most influential people in the world showed their support. But our most powerful medium was the product, so we drove equality in doing the laundry by launching the world's first odd even pack. And in another first, we partnered with India's most influential cultural calendar, Kalnirnye, and added the Here's and Her instructions. Influential Indian children's books even came forward and re-scripted their comics to include the values of sharing the load at home. All this left a profound impact on the brand and society. Sales went up an unprecedented 76%. We generated over 2 billion earned impressions, earned media worth $11 million. Consumer engagement increased 4.6 times, the highest ever. And most importantly, 2.1 million Indian men have pledged to share the load.
Changing the narrative for a society by a brand, that's incredible. But look at their sales figures, by 76% increase in sales, just by taking a stand and saying the right thing that needed to be said at the right time. That's what really good, creative, effective marketing does. It changes minds using creativity. But to take that forward, it is about acts, not ads. This is a mantra that we constantly focus on, which is what you saw in Ariel. They just didn't do a TV ad. They actually reinvented the calendar. They put the calendar on the box that people could put up in their homes. So they drove a habit. Something we did here in Pakistan a couple of years ago was a campaign for UN Women to raise awareness around domestic violence. And we realized that domestic violence campaigns usually said the same thing over and over again, which was to victimize women. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to focus on highlighting and celebrating successful women, somebody like Naseem Hameed, and to connect with men directly and to realize how wrong, and to make them realize how wrong they were in evaluating their perception of women. So Naseem Hameed, we all know, won the gold medal at the Asia Cup, and she had a time of 11.8 seconds in the 100-meter race. So we went to various parks and we asked men, do you think you could beat that time? She ran 100 meters in 11.8 seconds. Do you think you could beat it? And most men said, of course. Now this is a professional athlete, but just because she's a woman, most men thought, calculating it, of course I can beat her. If she can do it, I can be better than her. And this gentleman we interviewed, evaluated, he thought about it. If she did it 11.8 seconds, that means I can do it in 8 seconds, 100 meters, right? Now, just like a lot of men, he's being fed by a lot of different things. There's a lifetime of conditioning, there's social conformity pressure, steady diet of patriarchal stuff, gender superiority complex, hormonal shifts, and of course film and media narratives that have fed this constantly that if a woman can do it in this much time, surely you can do it better as a man. Well, he couldn't, obviously. He kept saying 8 seconds, but that was his best time. He collapsed after a while, trying for 3 or 4 times. And then he did acknowledge that a woman could beat a man, that it was the repeat thing. We led a campaign called Beat Me, which featured really successful women like Naseem Hameed saying, beat me at running 100 meters. There was women asking men to beat them, but at things they were good at, recognizing and celebrating successful women. Samina Beg, who climbed Everest. How many men can climb Everest? And it sort of equalized that understanding that, listen, women are not inferior to us. They're equal or better many times. You think that's a Pakistan problem? No. This just happened in the US. They did the same idea where 12% of men believe that they can score a point against Serena Williams. Those 3 guys there went up in a match against them. If you have time, do Google this. It's hilarious to watch how she demolishes them. But that is the narrative that a lot of brands want to change and want to step into, but using creativity as a force to do it. The Cannes Lion Creative Marketer of the Year is selected every year. And what's amazing is that every year, the brand that they pick outperforms the stock market by a factor of 3.5. These are three examples: Adidas, Volkswagen, and Coca-Cola. All of them have beaten that stock market evaluation by quite a lot. And all of those brands are very, very creative and innovative in what they do, not only in terms of product development and innovation, but also in their marketing. We had a project that came to us, and we wanted to do something different with how we use celebrities here. We didn't want to use a celebrity from Pakistan. We brought somebody who was Pakistani but from abroad, and it did spectacularly well for the brand, but we just twisted it a little bit about how we presented it. This case study is narrated by him, but because he's got an English accent, I hope you can see the subtitles. You'll need to play this as well, I think.
And here he is, just about on top of the world.
In 2004, I won at the Olympics, but 12 years later, I found myself knocked out. Until one energy drink from Pakistan stepped in to bring me back, to energize me again with a massive campaign. They invited me to train in Lahore, an old Mughal city, turning it into a gym for me. An online film was launched of me training amongst the old streets, using its traditional wrestlers. Pakistanis were invited to send me challenges online to help me train. Challenges like competing with a drum player. Things got intense. Training in ways no boxer's ever done before. The news picked it up. I like being in the news. Yeah, turns out the campaign re-energized Sting too. Helped me to get back in the ring and fight again. Thank you, Sting, and thank you, Pakistan. Thank you for re-energizing me.
So, a lot of credit to PepsiCo, who banked on a celebrity that was actually on his way out. He was a failed boxer. He had actually been knocked out. Nobody wanted to do anything with him. But these guys said, no, we'll back him up. He had also had a lot of personal controversies that were going on, but we disregarded that and we just focused on what he could do best. And it worked out really well. I was at that fight, and I actually missed him knocking the guy out because I just looked away for a few seconds and it was over. It was 39 seconds that he took to win this game. And you can imagine the effect it had on the brand and on sales. So again, just having that courage to stick with a creative decision all the way through worked out really well. Lay's, with its innovative packaging, changed the game for themselves as well. They sold 70 million packs in 2 months just because they added the smile to their packaging. That's more than the population of France. That's how many packs they sold in 2 months. Just a very simple innovation, and again, backed up really well. This has gone global now into all the different countries that Lay's and Walker sell their products. There's a lot of creativity in going up against the competition. I've got a really, really good case study here. But this is the perfect example of doing something really courageous. Not only in terms of using technology, but also in terms of pretty much asking your customer to go to your competitor. This is what this brand did. They actually asked their consumers to go first to their competitor, which would lead them back to the brand itself.
Burger King wants you to come here. Yes to McDonald's.
Burger King
is trolling
its fast food rival.
So I saw this Burger King commercial where you can
get a Whopper for a penny.
Only if you open the app while you're at McDonald's.
That doesn't even make sense. You have to go to McDonald's for a Whopper?
And use Burger King BK app.
Then be within 600 feet of a McDonald's restaurant.
Leveraging geolocation technology.
It's called the Whopper Detour.
Whopper Detour.
Whopper Detour. Over McDonald's.
All right, so I'm currently at McDonald's right here.
Let's go for the unlock.
You unlocked the Whopper Detour.
This is a really cool promo, guys. How fun is this?
Nice. That's funny.
That's crazy. Whopper? Okay, where's the Burger King?
Like 4 blocks to your left.
That's pretty incredible. Just a simple app that you could only download while you're at McDonald's. But again, just really, really courageous. They just did it differently than everybody else. And look at the business results. That app was just ridiculously successful. And of course, the sales results followed up. But it took a lot of courage to do that. It could have gone wrong in a lot of places. You're at McDonald's, so you might not want to download the app and might want to just stay there. But they banked on the creativity to drive the consumer. Colin Kaepernick. Is everybody familiar with Colin Kaepernick? A couple of years ago, he decided to protest against police brutality. And in the NFL season, during a game, when the anthem was playing, he did this. He took the knee in protest, and he said, I'm not going to stand for an anthem in a country which has a lot of police brutality. Faced a lot of backlash because of it. Got thrown out of the NFL, got banned. Even Trump obviously wrote against him because he refused to stand up for the flag. Now that's an athlete nobody would want to touch, but one brand did, and they took a lot of courage doing it, but it changed the game for them. Now, while going through this case study, there will come a point where they'll talk about how this brand started, how this campaign started collapsing, that it actually drove business results negative. The stock price fell. And it was a pivotal moment for the brand where they could have pulled the campaign. They could have said, no, it's not working. This is terrible. People are actually burning our brand, are burning our product. So we need to stop this ad campaign from happening. But instead, they stuck to it. They said, no, we've stepped into it, we've taken a side, and we're going to go all the way with this. We're going to be courageous about it. And it worked out for them.
Several people posting videos burning Nike shoes.
Nike is running straight into a political controversy.
People are so angry they're burning their own shoes.
Colin Kaepernick refused to stand during the national anthem, taking a knee to protest police brutality.
Nike revealed Colin Kaepernick as the face of its latest marketing campaign.
Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything.
Is Nike taking a risk?
I think they're taking a stand.
Tonight, the first game of the new season, and Nike is running an ad featuring Colin Kaepernick.
If people say your dreams are crazy, good. Stay that way.
Most of this country was talking about this last night at their dinner table.
And I'm never buying another Nike product again.
Nike's stock today dropping 3%.
Who's going to win this cultural showdown of standing for the anthem? We are.
Check this out. I went out today and bought me some Nikes.
Oh, yeah.
I want to applaud Nike. Speak up. We're right behind you.
This thing is bigger than just the United States, and I think it resonates throughout the world.
Kaepernick asegura que es
Just do it.
Nike stock reached an all-time high last Friday. I'm gonna buy more Nikes now.
Nike's on the right side of history.
So don't ask if your dreams are crazy. Ask if they're crazy enough.
Oh, that's an incredible story. And if there's any brand in the world that could do it, it was them. But they became who they said they were. Take a stand for something, even if it means sacrificing everything. And they did take a stand on that. Their stock was collapsing, and they still stuck with the campaign, and it suddenly turned around. I spoke to Susan Hoffman when she was presenting this campaign at D&AD this year, and she said that they evaluated it carefully. They said, look, we know that we'll present it, and there will be a massive backlash. People will start hating it. But there will be a backlash to that backlash, and that's what we have to count on. That second backlash is what will drive our success, and that's exactly what happened. They had faith on the right side, and that's exactly what stepped up. They were so confident that they actually put out an ad. Nike actually made an ad telling their consumers how to safely burn their shoes. They actually took out an ad and they said, listen, if you want to burn it in a pit, stand 10 feet away, light it up, enjoy the moment. This is a brand telling people how to burn their own product. This is the stand they took. And that stock price just went up and up and up and up. And that's what creativity and courage does for a brand. Creativity in protesting is something that we took on. And this is a case study I show a lot because it also took a lot of courage in doing. But our task here was to protest against something very specific. But it was also to reach not only a new target that we wanted to reach, but also go all the way up to reach the President of the United States. Not only disseminate ourselves in the media using very little money, but to get onto the desk of the President of the United States, which we ended up doing. The idea was so simple that it just blew up after we did it. So this was done in Pakistan.
In the last decade, predator drone strikes in Pakistan have killed more than 1,000 innocent civilians, including more than 200 children.
I no longer love blue skies. In fact, I now prefer gray skies. The drones do not fly when the skies are gray, and for a short period of time, the mental tension and fear eases.
FFR has been trying to raise awareness of this issue. Operators routinely describe their casualties as bug splats, since humans look like disposable bugs from far above. Most protests in Pakistan go unnoticed globally, so we decided to talk to the drone operators directly.
The new project laid out a giant poster of a young child with the hopes that it will be visible from the sky. The group installed the picture in an unnamed town in a rural Pakistani province close to the northwest border with Afghanistan.
The drone operator will henceforth not see what looks like a bug, but an actual face of a child staring back at them. The installation, part of French artist JR's Inside Out movement, was also designed to be captured by satellites to make it a permanent part of the landscape on mapping sites. All this happened under a simple campaign hashtag.
Not a bug splat.
Not a bug splat.
Huge poster of a child's face.
It is not an anonymous dot on the landscape, but an actual child's face.
The campaign went viral overnight.
With earned media estimated at over $182 million, the installation put the issue on the world map. It was brought up by members of the National Assembly of Pakistan and became the poster image for global pressure that helped reduce civilian and children deaths. We had reached and affected our target audience.
The Not a Bug Splat project is something that could have a lot of impact, and that these children deserve a free and happy lifestyle, and we've taken it.
The girl's picture became a powerful message that said, we are humans, not bugs.
So 3.5 billion impressions, but that cost us only about $2,000 to do. So whenever somebody tells me that you need a lot of money to have a lot of impact, it's not true. You need a really strong creative idea. And a really good example is something else we did for UN Women, which to protest child marriages, we made a dress for under $100, which got 500 million impressions as well. We hijacked a fashion show and we presented a girl wearing a school uniform that was merged with a wedding dress outfit. We partnered with Ali Zishan on this, and it did very, very well. So again, creativity, driving a message success without needing a lot of money, just because it's a very smart idea. It just lives on its own. An opportunity was seen there, and we applied talent to it, and it became successful because when you ask what creative value is, when you ask what creative value an agency can bring to a brand or a business, you have to consider the risks that they're taking and the approach they're taking. It's like the Fosbury flop, which leads to a gold medal at the Olympics. It is doing something differently than everybody else has been doing for years. Because smart creativity will drive very measurable success. Thank you. Oh, okay, thanks.
May I please request Dr. Amjad Waheed to join me on stage? And wow, what a fantastic
Thank you. Thanks.
Presentation. I think it's really kind of energized the group. And you were a little incorrect. You're not the only thing between lunch and
there's something else.
There's something else also. Right. May I please request Dr. Amjad Waheed to present a memento thank you to Ali Raiz.